Okay, everybody, it is me, Gregory Mannarino, and I'm just about on the verge of laughter. Yet again, laughing. Why am I laughing? Why am I even thinking about laughing? Because it's a freak show of the highest possible order, and then even maybe even higher than that. We have to talk, sit down, and relax. So, yeah, status post, the Fed minutes, this epic freaking market. We got a lot to talk about. So, did I say the date? Wednesday. February 16th, 2022. Where to start with this video blog? How about this? So this morning, apparently, we got this absolutely beautiful, fantastic, fabulous, tremendous retail sales number. And it's astonishing to me. You're watching CNBC, Bloomberg, Fox Business. You know, the commentators, they don't understand what's going on. We got this really great number, but the Dow Jones Industrial Average was down almost 400 points. They don't get it. They don't see what's going on here. Look, let's put that into perspective just a little more with regard to this big blowout number. How about this? People are hoarding. Whenever, throughout history, do your own research into this, okay, if you don't believe me. When people are confronted with an environment like this, inflation surging at its fastest pace ever with no end in sight, what do? They hoard. They start hoarding things because they realize, hey, you know what? I'm going to need this in a month or two. Price is going to go up, so I'm going to buy it now. So this is a big contributor to this retail sales number, on top of the fact that, again, you got, big ticket items, luxury items. Well, if you were to look at, for example, luxury items in aggregate, yeah, sure, they're selling a lot of this stuff here. Who's buying it? You think it's the middle class who's borrowing beyond their eyeballs just to survive? No, it's the rich, it's the well-off, the people at the bottom rung. Well, they're done. They're not buying literally dog shit. So, again, look, they can't tell you this, and this is honestly what blows my freaking mind. I'm sitting here, literally, and I'm watching all these freaking, propaganda ministry shows, and they just don't, but what? Why? They're asking each other. They're literally asking each other, okay, we got this great retail sales number. Why do you think the market is down like this? They don't get it. They don't, you see all those people, all the big stars on those shows, they're very rich, okay? They're well off in a big way. So they're not on the same wavelength as most of you are. They're not even in the same reality as most of you are. But that's just how sick this is. Now, we had this market down all day, except for when the Federal Reserve released their minutes, and I took 3 freaking pages of notes on this stuff here today. I don't know if I'll get to all of it, but I'll go through it. On what happened with the Fed minutes. You know what? Let's talk about that. So with the Fed minutes today, was my second page here. Here we go. You're going to laugh at this. So basically it came down to this, that rates are going up. Now look what I wrote. Duh. Okay. Let me see here. Inflation, sit down for this. Really, honestly, sit the freak down. Inflation has exceeded the Federal Reserve's long-term goals. How about another? Duh! Make it up. Now, we also heard about balance sheet reductions. All right, you know what? Before we even get to that, so the other narrative here from the Federal Reserve was our economy is stronger, despite the fact that real wages are literally in free fall, despite the fact, I'm laughing, that inflation is surging, despite the fact that debts and deficits are hyperballooning. We're doing great. We're freaking fantastic. Oh, yeah. Well, anyway, how about no? How about it's all a freak show and they got to sit there? They're not going to be held to account. Let me ask you, how many lies have you heard so far? The Federal Reserve has exceeded their inflation goals by hundreds and hundreds of percent. They had a 2% goal. Okay, we're at like 7.3. I don't hear any uproar. Where's our politicians? Oh no, they want to regulate cryptocurrency. But they don't want to do a damn thing about reining in public enemy number one. The one single entity on this planet, that's the Fed. Okay, we have the world reserve currency of the United States. We're destroying the world. We're not just destroying the United States. The Federal Reserve is responsible for this global inflationary event. People, the Federal Reserve has flooded the world with quadrillions of dollars since 2008, if you add in dollar derivatives in their mission to inflate, and then inflate some more. But I don't hear anybody, not even a leader from another nation, pointing their finger at the Federal Reserve. Does that tell you something? They all know it. You know it. You trying to tell me or convince me, anybody want to try that they don't understand what's going on? Every single one of our politicians, all of them, know what's going on. Our president knows, our current retard president, the last retard president, the retard president before them. They're all retards and they're not on your side. You may worship them and want to lick their feet, but they don't give a damn about you. I can promise you that. It's an incredible situation here. Our economy is strong. We're doing great. Could not be further from the truth. Again, as a percentage of GDP, the global economy is contracting. Here in the United States, we're contracting at our fastest pace ever. You know, the other lie that is being propagated, and I'm going to cover it here, is that rate hikes alone are going to do anything about surging inflation. This is beyond laughable. No matter how much the Federal Reserve would hike rates, whatever, it won't make any difference at all. Inflation is going to continue to surge out of control. If the Federal Reserve were serious about trying to tackle inflation, they would have to dramatically, no, way more than that. They would have to reduce their size of their balance sheet by about 75 to 80%. What do you think a reduction of the Federal Reserve's balance sheet to that degree, because that's what would have to happen, would mean for the stock market? How about a crash beyond your wildest imaginations? Seriously. But you see, you can't know that either. They think it's all above your pay grade, and it's absolutely not. You know, I dropped my paper. Hold on one second. Be right back. Did you miss me? All right, look. So on the back of this market today, extreme volatility, great economic news, Dow down about 400, 370 or something along those lines. And the mainstream propaganda imbeciles, they can't figure it out. Oh, we got this great number. No. Anyway, what else happened today? The 10-year yield remained stable. Okay, we're sitting above 2, just above 2. The dollar actually came down after the Fed minutes. So what does that tell you? Well, currency traders, they aren't buying it. They aren't buying the talk, the nonsense dog shit that the Federal Reserve is going to do anything meaningful moving forward, and they're not going to. The Fed will continue to inflate. Count on it. You don't matter. I don't matter. The global situation in regard to inflation, this is what they have worked to do. They have actually went out of their way to create this. Do you really believe that the Federal Reserve overshot their 2% inflation target by hundreds of percent? I mean, 2% is their target, right over 7. Do you think that's by accident? They really make a mistake? No. This is a destruction. This is an elimination of not just the middle class, but of the economy. They want to remain the lender and buyer of last resort. They will continue to buy assets. So forget about it. So that's the way it's going to go. And what is that going to do? That's going to push the stock market higher. How many of you realize with regard to the broader market, the S&P 500, we're about 6%, just 6 lousy percent off of a new record high. You think we're not going to hit it? Really? I'm laughing. I'm laughing, people. Look, all right, so let's talk about some other assets. I already explained to you about the 10-year yield of dollar. Crude oil under a little bit of pressure here. It's unbelievable what crude oil is doing, and be very, very afraid when we get that pullback that I've been waiting for quite a while. When we get that pullback, that corrective phase, whatever you want to call it, with regard to crude, that's when you should be afraid, because it's going much, much higher. And what that's going to do to inflation is just going to make it monumentally and exponentially worse. But you already know that too. Crypto's doing still okay here. Bitcoin over 44,000, gold and silver catching a bid. Lovely. All right, let me just look at some of these things. I can't even probably read my own damn handwriting here. But let's see. I wrote here, this was page one here. So going back to our lovely booming economy, import prices are now rising at their fastest pace in over a decade. Oh, that's great. Our economy is so booming. It's perfect. I told you people are already stockpiling, and that's the real reason. Well, not the whole reason. Part of the reason why we got this big retail sales number. People are afraid. They're definitely afraid of prices continuing to skyrocket. They're afraid of war. They're being made afraid to breathe, literally, devices on their face. Who knows? Maybe they're going to make you afraid of taking a freaking piss. I have no idea. All right, anyway, let us move forward here. Do I even want to talk about this? No. Some things we won't talk about just yet here. Anyway, let's go on to my last lovely page here. I hardly get to do all this stuff, but I think you get it here. It's crazy. Anyway, look, the bottom line comes down to this. The market knows that all of this is horse shit, bullshit, and more cat shit, sprinkled with bird shit, doused in gasoline, and then lit on fire. Okay, that's really the truth. The Federal Reserve is out to fulfill its goal, to fulfill its end game at the cost of everything. Nothing else matters. Again, we're in an economic free fall. Prices are out of control with no way to stop it. Let me put another perspective on this for you just in case. So they want us to believe, the Federal Reserve, these so-called expert economists out here, politicians, they want us to believe that the Federal Reserve can actually stop or slow the pace of inflation by, again, raising rates like half a point, quarter of a point, here or there several times. I mean, you want to laugh? Well, that's something to laugh about. Number two, again, we're in a situation that's very simple to understand. Like I said, the Federal Reserve has been creating out of thin air epic amounts of debt, printing cash since 2008 like we've never seen. This is literally uncharted territory. They just know one thing. They want to inflate. And that's it. So again, there are those that want us to believe that these oceans and oceans of extra bills in whatever form they exist that are now chasing the same amount of goods, they want us to believe it's just miraculously going to stop. No, it's not going to. It's not even meant to. This is so much bigger than what people understand. This is all by design, as I have explained to you for freaking years. This is how I have kept all of you in the right spots in this market. Looking forward here, being in a kind of balanced portfolio, risk on and risk off here. It's not hard to do, but I think you get it if you follow this blog. I really think you do, and it's so troubling to me that there's no one here that we can expect to help. All we have is a fake government, with a figurehead and a bunch of freaks here that don't represent a damn thing. They don't represent you at all. Your vote doesn't count. You don't count. It's all about the central banks. They have banded together, and they are in full, absolute control. What we're seeing now is nothing but a side effect of what they have put into motion years ago. They are working diligently and successfully towards that goal. To a two-tier society, they will be and are the feudal overlords. They have become the government. Nothing else matters anymore. Geopolitical events, everything that you see is staged. Okay, this Russia-Ukraine thing, all these big geopolitical events, it's all at the behest and design of central banks. They run it all. All. I hope you understand. They control the media. They control the politicians, quite obviously. They choose who's going to sit behind the Resolute desk or anywhere else. Sure, they may put on a big show for you. It may seem real to you. It's not real. All they want to do is divide and conquer. Keep people also in a state of hatred, hating each other, in a state of fear. They can't allow you to see what's actually happening, and nobody except you and me, really, has the guts to point their finger at the Fed. They're the root cause. You think it's our current president would do it? President retard? No. Did our last retard president do it? Trump the retard? No, he didn't do it either. No, absolutely. All he wanted to do is have the Fed continue to prop up that market, kill the dollar, expand the debt. How did that work out for you, huh? Great, right? People, keep your eye on the ball, and you're always going to stay ahead of the curve. All right, look, love you a lot. Lots of important things here in this video. Share it. I will read the comments, and I am so out of here.